It's July 17th, and you're listening to the While We Still Can podcast. I'm Lisa Rollison.
I'm Tina Langland.
And we're here to bring you commentary on Missouri news, which we really don't want to get into what we have to get in today, but we will. And some national news, too, because we can't help ourselves. So welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming back. Missouri news. Tina, I don't want to talk about this. I don't know if I can participate in this discussion. I'm just going to sit over here in the corner while you tell the people what we know so far, allegedly. And
allegedly.
Let me know when you're done, because it's too much for me.
Well,
I can't do it.
Well, the thing is we're living another episode of The Onion. And so I don't know if anybody has ever watched the show 90 Day Fiancé. It was on like TLC or something. And there was a girl named Stephanie Maddow that was on there. And this girl has a TikTok and she's probably thirsty, okay? But she's best known on 90 Day Fiancé for, I guess, talking about farting in jars and selling them to men.
Stop it.
Like her.
Stop it. That can't be true. Oh.
No. Yes, it's a thing. Yes, it is. Yes. So apparently I know, I'm using TikTok. This is our Missouri National Enquirer, okay? But this girl's pretty honest if she's talking about farting in jars, okay, on television. So I kind of trust her, you know? So she has been in a virtual relationship with a senator that he would pay her for video chats. And often during these video chats, he would have her eat food. That's what he wanted to watch. And often it was Taco Bell. So I'm inferring that he probably ordered some fart jars too, allegedly. I don't know.
This is all too much. I feel like this is unreliable.
So she has an NDA with this guy. So she's like, I'm just going to tell you that this man loves fishing. And I can't remember what her other clues were. But I guess she got mad at him. Yes, okay, hold on. Okay, she and the unnamed senator would have virtual dates that involved her consuming meals while he watched in exchange for money. But Stephanie explained she recently decided to cut ties after his beliefs became too crazy and radical, and she opted to spill some dirt. I've dated a U.S. senator for the past year and kept it a huge secret until today.
Well, I just want to interject here and say, is it really dating if he's paying you? It seems more like a transactional situation than a romantic relationship. But anyway, carry on.
Okay. Okay. The problem would be, does his wife know that he buys some girl Taco Bell and he does video chats? Well, he's family first. Okay, hold on. So she basically got mad at him because she was like, basically, you hate women and legislate all these terrible things. And he was like, I don't care. I'm in it for the money. And so she was like, oh, well, I just can't talk to you anymore. And then she was like, I think the world needs to know.
So the last straw for her was the fact that this person doesn't believe in anything they appear publicly to stand for and is just in it for the money and the power. Well, duh, right? Duh. We all know that's what you and I have been saying forever, is that it's all about opportunism and personal advancement at the expense of everyone else. But it'll be interesting to see if anybody picks this up and investigates it and brings any proof to the table. Otherwise, I mean, I'm sorry, I can't buy that that's true.
The
reason we're talking about this is we're not going to say his name, but allegedly a Missouri senator is involved in this situation, which we're not even going to mention it until we have some inkling that any of this could be true, which, God, I hope is never.
I just think it's funny that people fart in jars because I'm 5, so I had to tell the story, okay? Oh my God. Missouri got brought up for yet another positive thing. Oh, one good thing about Missouri, Lucas Kuntz, the guy that's running against, well, hopefully, because he has to win the primaries, right?
We'll put in some cheers here for Lucas.
Yes, but he outraised Josh Hawley for the first time this past quarter, I guess.
Good for him. That's fantastic.
That's a really big deal. Yeah, so that's good.
Yep.
But everything else is trash. So,
Yeah, if people show up to vote against Josh Hawley and then they vote down Ticket 2, that'd be awesome.
well, and if abortion's on the ballot, which
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's going to be, and that, I mean, people are fucking pissed.
Yeah, heck yeah, they are.
I'm pissed. Okay, I just got some funny, interesting things to say about the RNC that's going on right now.
All right.
It looks like a fucking game show from like the 1980s. It's trash.
All
Um,
right. So we're pivoting to the RNC convention held in
yes,
Milwaukee. Let's go,
yes.
Milwaukee.
So apparently, we've already talked about Trump's maxi pad. There's been several memes floating around making the situation a lot more bearable. People are buying and wearing things on their ear to imitate him because it's a cult. It's disturbing, very disturbing.
We've talked about this many times, but the the ways that these folks debase themselves in the spirit of supporting this guy is just it never ceases to amaze me. It's shocking, but not surprising.
Like wearing a maxi pad on their ear, like it's cringy.
Yeah.
Rudy had I don't know if he hit the open bar or what, but I saw Rudy crashing straight into some chairs. Um,
Okay, I saw that video, and he seemed to perhaps drop something and then try to pick it up and fall. You know, maybe that's what happened to
you know,
him.
they
I
have
don't
a
know.
like an open bar at the RNC.
It seems dangerous.
Rudy,
What else? What else is open at the RNC? Perhaps people's closets.
yeah. Oh God. So it was reported there was data that during the RNC since it started, Grindr has had a 166% increase in traffic on the website. So
Okay, I'm gonna go to Snopes and see if I can find out if that's accurate.
okay, go for
The first thing to pop up has nothing to do with what I'm searching, but it's the Milwaukee Tool website.
it. I bet them ER docs are going to be busy getting things out of asses. So JD Vance was named as Trump's VP over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He's an interesting man. He's only been in the government for like what, less than 2 years.
It hasn't been very long.
He, I think he was an investment banker, and then he wrote that book, Hillbilly
Yeah.
Elegy, talking about how he grew up super poor, but come to find out it wasn't as bad as he said in the book. Not saying that he didn't have a hard life or anything. He wears a
Yeah, I
lot
think
of
he had,
eyeliner. He's very
his I think
emo.
his family was affected by addiction significantly. But
Yeah.
I thought
I mean,
that
he
the
went to
book,
Yale.
yeah, well, he went to the military, and I think that helped him achieve an education. But I think the book was interesting in how it outlined some of the reasons that people kind of in rural America feel disenfranchised and that type of thing. But he is another one that I feel
He
perhaps
was
started
kind of
out,
like deep, like somewhat decent, and he sold his soul.
exactly. And the question is why? Is it all money? Is it power? Did he really change his thoughts, his stance? Does he think he can come along and make a difference somehow? I mean, I don't know. I doubt it. But
Well, okay, so if you look at like his past, like in 2016 he was saying like
oh yeah.
Trump is America's Hitler and was not, he was like how like Trump is picking somebody as his VP that said that he was America's Hitler,
Yeah.
and that means that Trump takes that as a compliment.
Yeah, unfortunately now I think his base does.
We already talked about Nazis this week. I'm over them.
And it's also important to know that there are a lot of billionaires now in this country that are, I'm sure think they are supporting the Republican ticket because I'm assuming they think they can just buy their way into anything now if they get elected, which will give them a lot of power and save them a lot of tax money because they won't be paying any.
And if you look in Project 2025, that's kind of like all the mid range money income makers are going to be taxed at a way higher rate than the
Yeah.
fucking millionaires and billionaires. It's not fair. Like there's not one person I know that would agree with things in there, like all of the things. Like you're gonna find something in there that you're like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I think everybody can find something that's going to affect their life in there.
Well, there's the guy Peter Thiel. I need to
Yeah.
read more about him, but he, I believe, is one of the billionaires that are kind of, molding JD Vance, because he also helped write Project 2025, apparently. Verify.
Which that's really interesting because I mean he's gay and that's an open fact.
JD Vance's?
No, Peter Thiel.
Oh.
So I guess it's it's if you're rich enough, you can keep your rights,
Oh, I didn't
throw
know
everyone else
Peter
under the
Thiel.
bus.
Okay. Okay, so what's his name? Did JD Vance not help write it?
I haven't read where he helped write it,
Okay.
but he has been on record supporting, almost complete abortion bans,
Yeah.
um, banning abortion even in the case of rape or incest. He's not
Yeah.
someone who is going to support rights of the people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whether that's how he really feels or whether that's his current stance because that's what he has to say in order to be popular, well, at least with the powers that be in the Republican Party, you can't trust him, right? Either way, you can't trust him.
Well, so they're at this RNC and people are first kind of learning about, like, they know who JD Vance is, but now that they're like figuring out all his life details because all the worms are going to come out. And, they realize that his wife is an Indian woman, an immigrant Indian woman, and he has 3 children with her.
Well, I mean, if they think that that's going to make a difference in his position on things, I mean, the former president had an immigrant wife too, and look what he did. So, again,
But she is like, has darker skin.
mhm,
Melania is, more European-y, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, right. Whereas
She's
Mrs.
in, like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
And his
all the
children
races
are
will be
also
coming
that
out the
way.
woodwork for that.
No, they are. They already are.
Yeah.
It's really awful to read. Like, I couldn't imagine reading that, like, supporting your husband, or being
Mm-hmm.
okay with, like, your husband being okay with that being said.
Right.
It's
That reminds
wild.
me of I read that Mike Pence's wife made a comment at the inauguration that she said, "Are you happy now?" Basically like, "Okay, now we've sold our souls for you to get here. Are you happy now? Is it worth it?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I think it's fascinating. I would love to know the real story there. Like, does she share his beliefs? Does she really feel that way about all these issues that he's going to throw under the bus? I mean, does she think that this is a means to a better end somehow and she just needs to suck it up and tolerate it? I mean, I'm just super curious what their world is really like.
No, I honestly think that they're okay. Usually people that claim to be like that are the most deviant ones. And I
Interesting.
feel like, doesn't it seem like that?
I don't know.
I mean,
Like,
church leaders, like people you're supposed to trust,
yeah, I see what you mean. You mean just like in general terms, people with a public face very often are ingenuous.
they can be predatory. Ew. Okay. Also, Judge Cannon threw out the Mar-a-Lago case, the
She did. She
classified documents
and
case.
I would like to encourage anybody that's interested in that and really getting good information from that situation to tune into the Jack podcast. I would encourage anybody that's interested in following the Judge Cannon situation to follow the Jack podcast on the MSW network. It's excellent.
Goes into depth about it. Pretty good.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, so I've been kind of ignoring that one because I did not have any hope, because this woman is obviously, I mean, whatever. So I knew, but I figured that Jack Smith has like a plan. And so he already has filed for it to be sent to the 11th Circuit of Appeals. Is that what it is?
I think so. I would have to
So
double
it's
check.
already, so I think she's off of it now, or the other court gets to make the decision, I believe.
Yeah, we'll
But
learn more
like,
about that this time. But to me, this, her behavior is an example of like professionals abandoning their ethics when authoritarianism is threatening.
well, I mean, our Supreme Court, which, oh, by the way, this is a little nugget of good news. I just, did you see the news that Biden was like coming out with some like Supreme Court reform? I don't know what the right word, bills
Mm-hmm.
or something, or who, or
Yeah. So attempts are being
amendments,
made.
or
Yeah,
yeah.
attempts are being
What's
made
the
to
right
try to
word for that?
legislation, maybe. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll find out.
But I'm going to go ahead
Um,
and read. One thing I want everybody to hear is from the book on tyranny, 20 lessons from the 21st, or excuse me, from the 20th century by Timothy Snyder. In chapter 5, I just want to read this short paragraph here. It's titled Remember Professional Ethics. When political leaders set a negative example, professional commitments to just practice become more important. It is hard to subvert a rule of law state without lawyers, or to hold show trials without judges. Authoritarians need obedient civil servants, and concentration camp directors seek businessmen interested in cheap labor. So the takeaway there is that we need professionals to uphold their professional ethics, and fight back when they're asked to do
well,
shady stuff.
it's just when you are like, it erodes trust in everything, and when you can't trust anything, which they've already done that with like propaganda in the media, and when people become distrustful, it's easier to dehumanize, it's easier to
erode our
and
institution.
and that's not a good place to go.
Yeah. So how do we fight back? What do we do?
We got to vote, man, and it's coming up. It's going to be here before we know.
Indeed.
So I need everybody talking to at least 5 people they know and making sure that they know where they're voting at, if making sure they're registered to vote. You can't vote in the primaries right now if you're not registered to vote. Absentee ballot just started today, I believe. So you have no excuse.
And we're going to spend some time here on the pod talking about the candidates on the Missouri ballots. So hang in for that one of these days, coming up soon.
If we're ever not busy as crap.
Speaking of that, all right, well, everyone, thank you again for being here for the While We Still Can pod. We'll see you next time. And hang in there, keep your chin up. It's going to be all right.
And apparently there's a market for farting in jars, and men will buy Taco Bell for you, and all you have to do is eat it in front of them. So, hot job offerings.
Peace out.
Bye.